A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media, or as you might know me, Batman. Nah, just fucking kidding. Today I am going to basically go over the graphic novel Batman Under the Red Hood. This is a fantastic Batman story that maybe pissed off a lot of people back in the day. I'm sure that they have now kind of forgiven the writers based on what they have done with the character of Red Hood, but it must still be said that this was quite controversial at the time. If you don't want this story spoiled, and you know that's perfectly within your right, just go watch one of my other fucking videos. They're all fucking awesome. And if you don't watch one of my other fucking videos, go watch something else. I don't give a fucking shit. I'm wearing my Joker t-shirt. Fucking who gives a crap? So, yeah, let's just jump right into the next episode of... So this is, pardon me, Batman Under the Red Hood, one of the more controversial Batman storylines from back in the day, but nonetheless, very, very entertaining. I remember when this actually first came out, and they were teasing who is the Red Hood. For those of you that are not familiar, Red Hood was actually from the Alan Moore, The Killing Joke. The Red Hood was the guise that the Joker used in his first crime, which led Batman to knock him into the chemicals, which led to the creation of the Joker. So the Red Hood is like this mythological crime figure. But here we have Batman Under the Red Hood. Now, the first thing you're going to know is the art in this is absolutely phenomenal. We have a little bit of a cast of characters: Batman, Nightwing, Onyx, Black Mask, and Mr. Freeze. So it starts with this just random kind of junkie guy, and he doesn't realize that up above, Batman is fighting Red Hood. This is a completely brutal but fantastically drawn battle, where neither of them really do get the upper hand, and eventually Red Hood manages to take Batman's mask off, of course revealing Bruce Wayne, and he says it's only fair that I remove my mask, which he does, and Bruce Wayne is shocked by who Red Hood is. But then we go to 5 weeks earlier, I should say. Lucius Fox has come to see Bruce Wayne. Lucius Fox, of course, being his kind of tech guy at Wayne Industries, and he lets Bruce Wayne know that the R&D department of Wayne Industries has been bought out by some, like a German conglomerate. Bruce Wayne doesn't really care all that much. He does worry that his weapons are going to hit the public sector, however, and then he kind of goes out on patrol. At this point, the mafia bosses are having a meeting, which is interrupted by Red Hood. All of these bosses work for Roman Sionis, who is Black Mask, a kind of a lesser villain in Batman. He appeared in the sequel to the Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, sorry, the Harley Quinn. Yeah, the Harley Quinn film. He appeared in the Harley Quinn movie. Played by Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Fucking awesome. So Black Mask kind of breaks up the meeting and basically says, you're all kind of working for me now. Black Mask is understandably pissed at this. The skull mask is because he has been disfigured. That's why he kind of wears that skull mask. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's just basically a crime boss, which I really like. I like the character of Black Mask. I think he's a very interesting character. Not a lot of people think of him as one of Batman's A-list villains, but he goes to recruit help, and that help comes in the form of Victor Fries, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin, a truly, truly terrible movie. However, the character of Victor Fries was made great by Batman, the animated series, and his portrayal, like the portrayal of Mr. Freeze in that, has kind of transcended over to the comic books. A really, really interesting villain. So here we have Batman kind of trying to find out what is going on. They don't want to rely too much on Oracle at this point. Oracle, of course, being Barbara Gordon, who was shot and molested by the Joker in Alan Moore's absolutely phenomenal series, The Killing Joke. She was the original Batgirl, but now she is Oracle, who runs the team known as Birds of Prey, but that is a whole other thing, and I'm just going to get into it. Nightwing appears. Nightwing, if you don't know, is Dick Grayson, the original Robin, and he has become Nightwing. He actually became Nightwing in the Teen Titans storyline called The Judas Contract, where one of the members of the Teen Titans, this girl called Terra, actually betrayed them to Deathstroke the Terminator. And it was during that betrayal that he got rid of the Robin Duds and became Nightwing. Once again, I'm going off on a fucking tangent, and I apologize, but goddamn, these stories mean so much to me that I just can't help it. They decide to kind of work together, another little kind of team up. And here we have the guy designing Victor Freeze's armor. Victor Freeze basically wants more protection, and this guy's like, dude, chill. No pun intended. Black Mask is still having problems with Red Hood, and he's kind of getting a little pissed off about it all. Red Hood is keeping tabs on Black Mask's kind of shipments. So there's something going down at the docks. Batman and Nightwing go there. There's this shipment coming in that Black Mask really kind of needs. Red Hood has his eyes set on it. Batman and Nightwing don't really know what's going down. Oh, god damn, that's good. But they are going to get to the bottom of it. So they kind of do their thing. The drag-out fight, working as a team. They always worked well together. And they open it up and see some kind of Joker devices, and they realize that whatever the shipment is, it's like villain gadgets, which Black Mask is kind of bringing in. Red Hood blows up the ship. Batman realizes that Red Hood is kind of up there and goes after him. They have a little bit of a kind of back and forth tussle, not realizing that the actual problem is Amazo. Now, for those of you who don't know who Amazo is an android that has been programmed with all of the powers of the Justice League. So he's got like Superman's powers and Batman's powers and Flash's powers and Aquaman's powers, Wonder Woman's powers, and blah, blah, blah. So they are thinking, okay, this is what Black Mask is after. Black Mask realizes what is going on, wants Freeze to do something about it. Victor Freeze basically says, I'm nobody's lackey. Freeze is this guy who just shatters. Black Mask is psychotically happy about that. And they kind of team up for a partnership while Nightwing and Batman face down Amazo. Amazo is actually too strong for them. They can't beat him in a one-on-one fight, so they have to use their kind of teamwork skills and tactics to bring him down. It's a really cool battle. Amazo is a fucking stupid character that was created back in the Silver Age of comics that you never expect to really kind of be anything, and yet writers still find a way to make Amazo interesting and challenging and fun. And I have to fucking appreciate that, because that's just really cool. So they managed to kind of fuck up his equilibrium. They blow his eyes out, and ultimately they managed to take Amazo down. In doing so, they discover that Amazo wasn't what Black Mask was after, and whatever Black Mask was after, Red Hood now has in his possession. And that is a ton of kryptonite. So while it would have been, Black Mask would have loved to have all of the gadgets and everything and the Amazo android, he really was after the crate of kryptonite. We get a little bit of a thing here about how gold is valuable, diamonds are valuable, man-made synthetics are valuable, but the most valuable thing on Earth to supervillains is kryptonite, because it's the only thing that can take out Superman. Now, for those of you that don't know, while I love Batman, and Batman is one of my all-time favorite characters, I am a huge Superman fan, and not because of the character, but primarily because of the incarnations of the character. We can see it in the film with the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, the Superman Returns, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Justice League, all of that. We have Smallville, one of my all-time favorite TV shows. The new Superman and Lois TV show. Fuck, even Lois and Clark back in the day. I just love seeing what people do with a character that is pretty much impervious to everything. And seeing them explore his vulnerabilities and weaknesses, to me, is one of the most fascinating things like out there. You know, fucking tease me all you want for liking Smallville, but fuck me, that was a brilliant CW show. I don't care. I even loved it when they brought Tom Welling back for the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover, when you find out that his incarnation of Superman had actually renounced his powers and given up all of his superpowers just to live with Lois, and it was just brilliant. But anyway, we're bringing Superman into this now, so you guys shut the fuck up, sit back and relax. They're tracking the kryptonite. There's different types of kryptonite in here, not just green kryptonite. Those of you that don't know, there's a ton of kryptonite out there. Red kryptonite, black kryptonite, blue kryptonite. It does all kinds of wacky fucking stuff. So just kind of be aware of that. He wants money for the kryptonite, $50 million. Black Mask's guys like, we can't afford that. Black Mask is like, shut the fuck up. Victor Freeze is listening to all of this, and he's like, okay, we can sort this out. So Batman and Nightwing are kind of trying to work out what the fuck is going on at this point, whereas Mr. Freeze decides to meet up with Red Hood to get the kryptonite for the money. But it is a trap, and Red Hood has kind of ambushed them, takes them out with guns. At the same time, Batman shows up, and it becomes just one giant shit fight. Mr. Freeze gets away. And then we have an amusement park. Of course, they're going to bring the Joker into this. Red Hood meets with the Joker. He has a crowbar and just beats the living shit out of the Joker. Now this, if you haven't read Batman Hush, this will be your first clue as to who Red Hood is. If you've read Batman Hush, then it's kind of obvious who Red Hood is because they give it away in that storyline. But if you haven't read it, this is your first clue. Whoever is beating the shit out of the Joker with a crowbar, I think we all know that Red Hood is going to be Jason Todd. Okay, who the fuck is Jason Todd? You are all asking because you're a bunch of noncy, non-comic book reading pieces of poo-poos. Jason Todd was the second Robin. Jason Todd first met Batman when he stole the hubcaps off the Batmobile after it was parked in Crime Alley. Jason Todd was the most hated Robin of all time. So much so that in the Death in the Family storyline, they actually had a hotline number after one issue where the Joker almost beats Robin to death and sets bombs in a warehouse, and people could call in whether or not Batman saved him or let Jason Todd die. And by a narrow margin, Jason Todd was declared dead. This was one of the greatest failures in Batman's career, so much so that it had ripple effects through all of the comic books since then. Now, the one thing that is constant in comic books is the dead don't stay dead, but there are some exceptions. Uncle Ben, Peter Parker's uncle, still dead. Jason Todd was dead for decades, and yet they brought him back. Now, when I first saw this comic book issue in the newsagents, I was actually walking from Katoomba train station to my house after finishing a day at uni, and I stopped in at the newsagents in the middle of Katoomba Street to see whether or not there were any good comics or White Dwarf or any issues of Dragon. And I saw this comic and I fucking bought it on the spot and I read it on the way home. And then I called up my partner in crime, Ian Van Gammett, and I said, dude, you're never going to fucking believe this, but Jason Todd is alive. And Ian went, what the fuck? And then we had a big fucking debate over that's fucking stupid. And it was stupid at the time. Is it stupid now? Fuck no, it is awesome. But we were young, we were dumb, we didn't really understand that when you die in comics, you don't die in comics. Whatever, who fucking cares? Anyway, Red Hood, Jason Todd, second Robin, Joker killed with a crowbar. Look at that. Fucking awesome. Okay, let's continue, shall we? So we have some kind of goons here going along with a shipment that Red Hood blows up. Black Mask is getting really pissed off because Red Hood isn't taking the goods, he's just destroying the goods. And Black Mask can't understand why the fuck he is doing that. At this point, Batman has kind of cottoned on to who Red Hood is, so he enlists the help of Zatanna, one of the most powerful magic superheroes in DC continuity, right up there with John Constantine, possibly Etrigan the Demon. And he's talking about the Lazarus Pits. He actually had gotten Zatanna to close up a lot of the Lazarus Pits. Now, what the fuck are Lazarus Pits? You are all wondering as I get to this point in the fucking story. The Lazarus Pits are what lets Ra's al Ghul, the villain from Batman Begins, and to a lesser extent, Arrow, the Lazarus Pits allow him to rejuvenate himself. Now, Batman realizes at this point that Jason Todd is alive, and the only way he can be alive is if his body was put in a Lazarus Pit. So, this is what he has contacted Zatanna to kind of help him out with, but they have sealed all of the Lazarus Pits. So then he goes to Jason Blood, who is an occult expert and is also the alter ego of Etrigan the Demon. Etrigan the Demon, a very interesting DC character, in as much as all he does is talk in rhyme, but he is really, really cool. He asks Jason Blood, how is this possible? Jason Blood gives him some ideas. It's not a simple way to raise the dead, but there are ways to do it. We have some drug dealers here, and we see Onyx. Now, Onyx is a character that I'm not familiar with. Apparently, she was a former criminal that has reformed into a crime fighter and one of the few people that Batman lets be a vigilante in Gotham City. So she is taking out these bad guys, and she kind of beats the shit out of them and realizes that they are afraid of the Red Hood. And she's like, who the fuck is the Red Hood? Batman comes to Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow. Why does Batman come to Green Arrow? Very simply, because Green Arrow has died and come back to life. For those of you that don't know, Green Arrow died in a bomb on a plane. Very similar to actually Bucky Barnes from the original Captain America comic, where he was blown up in a plane. However, unlike Bucky Barnes, who comes back as the Winter Soldier, Oliver Queen actually was dead and comes back to life. Kevin Smith wrote the Green Arrow comic book series that brought Oliver Queen back to life. Batman just wants to know what he remembers and how he remembers it. Oliver Queen is very terse with Batman, and Batman, I mean, he talks to him, but Batman's like, listen, I don't know what the fuck I did to you, but why the attitude? To which Oliver Queen admits that it's all him. It's not Batman, but Batman gets the answers that he needs. It's a really great scene, really fucking poignant, and I like that the story took this kind of direction. At this point, Onyx is still kind of going after the bad guys. She is a little in over her head, but, you know, with vigilantes, that's kind of what they do. And Red Hood kind of comes and says, hey, you want to kind of do this together, so to speak. What a fantastic cover. So at this point, Batman is flying to Metropolis. Onyx is in the warehouse with Red Hood. And Red Hood's like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking do it. So fuck it. So he kind of jumps down, getting ready to attack. In Metropolis, these guys are smashing up computers after having stolen a whole ton of stuff. Batman takes them out with the help of Superman. Batman's like, I could have handled it. Superman's like, I know, but, you know, why are you here? Why are you fucking on my turf? Metropolis is my place. And so Batman kind of, hey, can we have a talk? I've got something I've got to hash out with you. At this point, Red Hood just goes in for the kill, and Onyx follows him. Batman asks Superman about when he died. Of course, that happened in the Death and Return of Superman storyline. Famously, Superman was killed fighting Doomsday, and came back to life after 4 people took up the mantle of Superman. There was Steel, Cyborg, Superboy, and the Eradicator. For those of you that are wondering about that storyline, do not worry. I have the complete story arc in an omnibus, and we'll be covering it at some point because it is fucking cool. So they have their heart-to-heart. Clark and Bruce, 2 of, in my opinion, like one of the greatest duos in comic books, in as much as Clark trusts Bruce unequivocally, with the exception of the Tower of Babel, Grant Morrison's storyline where Batman was kicked out of the Justice League. Again, I'm not going to go into it, but check it out if you fucking can. And so Clark trusts Bruce, Bruce trusts Clark. They know each other's secret identities. It's a whole big thing. So Onyx and Red Hood are taking out the bad guys. Red Hood kills them, to which Onyx is like, hey, we don't fucking do that. We don't cross that line. Red Hood is like, you know what? Fuck you. And stabs her in the shoulder and basically says, guess which one of us isn't getting out of here alive. Okay, we get some Batman flashbacks here while he's hurrying back to Gotham. Red Hood is kind of taunting Onyx, telling her about shoulder wounds and how much damage they can do. And he's kind of taunting her a bit before Batman shows up in the nick of time, of course, as he always does. And they get into a drawn-out fight, which is actually really, really cool. Because he knows that it's Jason Todd at this point, so he knows Jason Todd's tricks. At the same time, Jason Todd knows all of Batman's moves, all of Batman's tricks. The fight continues, and that is when we get the unveiling, which we saw back in the first issue. They hash it out. Bruce is skeptical. This isn't Jason Todd. Jason leaves his fingerprints on a Batarang, even goes so far as to give Bruce a blood sample on the Batarang. Test it, it's me. And then Jason Todd blows up his hood, which throws Bruce off. Bruce goes back to the Batcave with Alfred. They test it, and they realize that it is indeed Jason Todd, the second Robin. Holy fucking shit. Now, if you're a comic book fan back in the day, this would have blown your fucking mind. Some people were angry. Some people were annoyed. I understand that. Death isn't sacrosanct in comics. But this was just cool. So now we've got the characters kind of going through the motions. Batman, Alfred, Black Mask, Red Hood. Alfred is actually digging up Jason Todd's grave to see if the body is missing. And he ultimately, they're remembering when Jason Todd first met Batman. Now, when it comes to Robins, you've got Jason Todd. You've got Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and Damian Wayne. Dick Grayson being the most famous, Jason Todd being the most hated. Tim Drake, pretty cool. I like that they kind of expanded his story with his family and whatnot. And Damian Wayne being the son of Bruce Wayne and Talia al Ghul, who actually, when they first introduced him as Robin, he was a little shit, but I really like Damian Wayne's character, how he has evolved so much. So we see Batman here confronting Jason Todd and how he became the Robin, but he was a little impulsive. And here is Captain Boomerang, fucking one of the stupidest villains in DC continuity. Although Captain Boomerang does kill the father of Tim Drake, and I'm going off track again. I apologize. Let's just continue. But Jason Todd, ultimately, he is Robin. If you've watched Titans, the Netflix show, Jason Todd in that is freaking awesome. Dick Grayson in that is awesome, but Jason Todd is absolutely spot on, the arrogant little shit that you want him to be. And I believe in season 3, he actually does become Red Hood, but I haven't watched it yet, so I'm a little behind, not too sure. So they are checking out the coffin, and Bruce Wayne realizes that no body has ever been laid in this coffin before. There's nothing there, which in and of itself is quite suspicious. We get some more Jason Todd flashbacks where he's kind of crossing the line a little bit. There is one very famous story where Jason Todd actually lets a man fall to his death and doesn't try to save him. And that's kind of the beginning of the end. You see Jason Todd's anger kind of spiraling out of control. And so that's what you see here with Batman kind of trying to keep him in line and not really succeeding. And they realize that there's never been a body in the coffin. Okay. So we move on to this low-key meth lab. A couple of guys are basically running this whole meth lab. Red Hood has a rule for the drug dealers: don't sell to kids or don't use kids. But it turns out that one of these guys has been selling to high schoolers. Batman breaks into the lab, tells the guys to get out because the wall is filled with C4 explosives. Red Hood is monitoring Batman at this point. Batman realizes he doesn't have long, and he manages to escape before it blows up. Red Hood, at this point, I just love to watch him work. So Red Hood kind of goes a little bit crazy. Again, killing people. Black Mask goes into a rage. At this point, finally realizes that Red Hood is actually monitoring his office on the upper floors of this building. He has a rocket launcher. Red Hood gets the fuck out of there, and Black Mask gets the fuck out of there, and Red Hood blows it up with a rocket launcher. Black Mask can't understand how this has happened. His second in command basically says, the windows are supposed to be bulletproof, but we were getting these ones repaired. That's how he was able to do it. Black Mask is like, well, how was he even able to fucking know? So he gets his the head of security, and he's like, what's going on? The head of security says, I'm glad you're alive, sir. And Black Mask is like, that's great, shoots him in the head, because Black Mask is a fucking psychopath. At this point, Deathstroke the Terminator shows up and offers Black Mask a deal. Join the society, I think it's called, this criminal organization, and we will help you with your problem. This is when both Red Hood and Batman realize, fuck, now Deathstroke's involved. We have a fucking problem. So Alfred, kind of watching Batman doing what he does, just trying to work things out in his head. At the same time, Black Mask and Deathstroke the Terminator are, the society. Deathstroke the Terminator are having their kind of heart-to-heart. And Deathstroke is like, I've got some people coming that are going to help you. And when the people arrive, they find out it's the Hyena and Mr. Nazi, two C-grade at best villains. A Hyena was a pair of they're a pair of twins. One of them is dead, and Mr. Nazi is like a 130-year-old freaking Nazi who's gone blind and uses goggles to see. And Deathstroke's like, no, trust me, it's all good. Black Mask is like, what the fuck? So we get this drug dealer who is not part of any gang. They're trying to kind of enlist him, but it is actually a trap set to lure Red Hood out, where the hyena and Mr. Nazi are going to take them out. So Red Hood kind of fights back, and at this point Batman shows up, and now it is Batman and Red Hood fighting together. So we get kind of the Jason Todd, Bruce Wayne team up. But Mr. Nazi and the hyena are decoys, and they get Count Vertigo. Count Vertigo was a villain that actually appeared in the Arrow series on the CW. Basically, he causes a loss of equilibrium in the eyes and the ears and things like that. He is a surprisingly formidable foe with a really stupid power, but I enjoy whenever they bring Count Vertigo into stories, because it's just really cool to see how they will combat it. In this case, Batman blocks off his ears and causes himself to be blind by covering his eyes, but he uses bat sonar to see. He tells Red Hood, if you can get to Hyena, pump Hyena full of adrenaline that you keep on your belt. And at the same time, Batman grabs a piece of Count Vertigo's cloak so that Hyena will sniff it out and attack Count Vertigo. They aren't strong enough to take down the Mr. Nazi, but Red Hood doesn't care, and he ends up just killing Mr. Nazi, which puts him at odds with Batman, because Batman, doesn't have that thing, that he doesn't cross that line. It was great seeing the two of them fighting together, knowing that they are going to be at odds in the future. Really well written. In this issue begins with Alfred going to collect the mail, and he talks about how when Bruce Wayne was a child, he used to collect first editions. It wasn't about collecting the books so much as hunting them down, finding them. They would send them off to be authenticated, and then they would be sent back in specific blue packaging. And so Alfred, when he gets this blue packaging, he realizes that Jason Todd has actually sent a message through. Alfred, being a former SAS guy, well-versed with explosives, lets Batman know that Jason Todd has sent a message. Batman's like, okay. At this point, Black Mask is freaking out. He gets all his lieutenants together, and he's like, listen, what are we going to do? There's got to be something that you can do. Come up with some ideas. They don't. But that was never the point of him calling them. He actually just kills all of his lieutenants under the direction of the Red Hood. So at this point, Black Mask has basically gone, all right, you know what? Fuck it. I can't win. I'm just going to go along with whatever you want. Alfred opens the packages that have arrived that he believes are from Red Hood, and finds green hair and does a DNA check, and it comes up as the same DNA as the Joker. So Batman realizes that Jason Todd has got the Joker. At this point, Black Mask and Red Hood get into an argument. Black Mask is like, what the fuck did you make me do that for, you piece of shit? And they get into a knockdown fight. It is incredibly brutal. And ultimately, the person who comes out on top is the Black Mask, who manages to get the upper hand and stab Jason Todd, Red Hood, in the chest. Batman arrives. He is too late. He sees Red Hood with the dagger in his chest. And he goes after Black Mask. Black Mask removes the Red Hood, but it is not Jason Todd. It is a decoy. And Black Mask is like, this can't be right. He's been talking to me this whole time through the mask itself. But we see Jason Todd is alive and well, and he has the Joker captive. Batman realizes that there's probably a bomb in the mask. He tells Black Mask to get rid of it, knocks it out of his hand, and of course the mask blows up. Black Mask explains to Batman that Jason Todd, he doesn't know it's Jason Todd, that the Red Hood contacted him via his second in command, who was killed. A cell phone was tied into his mouth and thrown through a window. At this point, Batman is like, don't fucking go anywhere. The Joker is taunting Jason Todd, and Jason Todd just starts beating the shit out of him, stabs him in the shoulder, and just kind of continues to torture the Joker as the Joker is mentally torturing him. Batman leaves the Black Mask where he was, surrounded by bombs. He says to the Black Mask, these are motion-sensitive bombs. If you move, they explode. And Black Mask realizes that Batman is not fucking kidding at all. And Batman tracks down Jason Todd. They get into it, a rather heated discussion. At the same time, we have the living bomb. This dude is dropped over Bloodhaven. Now, Bloodhaven is the sister city to Gotham, and it is the city that Nightwing patrols since he left Gotham City. The living bomb lands smack in the middle of Bloodhaven and blowing it up. And Jason Todd is like, well, what do you know? Maybe Nightwing's dead, maybe he's not. Stiff shit, buddy boy. You couldn't save him. So Batman is in a dilemma here. If he leaves now and goes to Bloodhaven to find out what happened to Nightwing, Jason Todd's going to kill the Joker. He can't let Jason Todd do that. He can't let the Joker die, because that's going to be crossing a line. So what does he do? And they end up fighting. The Joker thinks this is all fucking hilarious. It is quite a brutal fight. Each of them going at each other, knowing that the building itself is rigged with explosives. Batman takes away Jason Todd's weapons by setting his coat on fire. He basically uses every trick that he knows. Jason Todd does the same thing. All the while, the Joker thinks this is fucking hilarious. The fight continues. Jason Todd basically admits that he forgave Bruce for not saving his life. What he can't forgive Bruce over is the fact that even though the Joker killed Jason Todd, Bruce has let the Joker live. Why hasn't Bruce avenged Jason Todd's death? That is the driving force behind Red Hood. And he basically gives Bruce an ultimatum. I'm going to shoot the Joker in the head. If you want me to let him live, you have to kill me with a headshot. And Bruce throws the batarang. It ricochets off a pipe and gets Jason Todd in the back of the neck, which the Joker finds absolutely fucking hilarious. And the building blows up, and we don't know what happens to the Joker or Red Hood. Now, that is the whole story of Under the Red Hood, but this graphic novel brings about how Jason Todd comes back. So we all know that Jason Todd was almost beaten to death by the Joker. The Joker was working with Jason Todd's actual mother, who was kind of scamming in a Middle Eastern country, scamming health supplies and whatnot. And the Joker kind of got her in on the scam, and Jason Todd happened to find out. And then he tried to save his mother and was beaten and blown up. And then Batman wasn't in time to save him. Now, while this is going on, Jason Todd is dead. But in the Infinite Crisis series, we have Crisis on Infinite Earths, Identity Crisis, a whole lot of others. Which was Crisis on Infinite Earths was DC's way of reigning in the multiverse. And over the years, they have all of these crisis stories which kind of shatter the multiverse, bring it back. We've got 52, we've got the new 52. We've got a whole lot of stuff. It's a jumbled mess of fucking awesomeness. But Superboy Prime was imprisoned, and he was punching his way out of his multiversal prison, and that sent ripples through time, and those ripples actually caused Jason Todd to come back to life. And Jason Todd fought his way out of the grave and kind of staggered and was found by some passers-by. He's in a coma. He's effectively brain dead. No one can understand what happened to him. The caretakers at the cemetery were like, we don't know what the fuck is going on here. So Jason Todd wakes up suddenly after being in this like brain dead coma, and he staggers outside, and then he spends years kind of on the streets. He vaguely recognizes certain criminals, but ultimately he has no idea who he is until he is found by Talia al Ghul, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, Batman's one-time kind of lover, mother to Batman's son Damian Wayne. She convinces her father to get Jason Todd, Ra's al Ghul, one of Batman's best villains in my opinion. And Ra's al Ghul, after so many years, is like, this is just a waste of fucking time. The guy's brain dead. It's not going to work. So Ra's al Ghul goes into his Lazarus Pit, and Talia al Ghul throws Jason Todd in there, and suddenly Jason Todd gets all of his memories back. And Talia al Ghul, weird kind of incestuous kiss thing here. And Talia al Ghul sends him on his way and says he has not been avenged, and he manages to get back to Gotham and realizes that Batman hasn't apprehended the Joker, and that is why he goes on this rampage as the Red Hood. We also get pages from Hush, where he reveals himself to be Red Hood, but it is Clayface, so there's kind of that going on. And then we have the first encounter where Batman in Hush, art by Jim Lee, fucking phenomenal, captures Tim Drake. They have a knockdown fight. Batman doesn't believe that it is Jason Todd, but they kind of go back and forth. And then he kind of melts away. But there you have it. That is Batman Under the Red Hood, the storyline that brought Jason Todd back from the dead. In my opinion, one of the best Batman arcs around. if not because Jason Todd doesn't stay a villain. Jason Todd is actually brought back into the Batman family and is one of Batman's staunchest allies in a lot of what he does, knowing what he does about how he died and about who killed him. He gets on well with Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, Tim Drake. He goes through a lot of redemptive arcs, especially in the New 52 series, where he is the leader of his own team. But ultimately, it's what you make of it. If you don't like the fact that they brought Jason Todd back from the dead, well, you don't like the fact they brought Jason Todd back from the dead. But this is a story about family. It's a story about redemption. It's a story about justice. It hits every note that you want a massive Batman storyline to hit. So this was Batman Under the Red Hood. You either love it or you hate it. I want to thank you for watching. Follow, like, subscribe, leave a comment, do all that fucking good stuff. But most importantly, stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And by all means, if you're not dead or if you have been brought back from the dead, read a fucking book, people. Have a good one.